Hello, everybody. Welcome to the number one most important criteria for choosing a multivitamin. I'm Trudy, and Tonya and I together have over 50 years of combined experience in the field of health and wellness. Sometimes it feels like 100, I have to admit. Anyway, the information given in this presentation is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Please consult your physician before making changes in diet, exercise, and supplementation. If you like the info you hear in this webinar, we have other webinars that are archived at liveamazing365.com under the tab Insights, all kinds of topics, children's health, stress, blood sugar, brain health, gut health, and so forth. So grab a notebook and pen and focus for the next 20 to 25 minutes. We hope you find this info helpful. Well, the person on the right was me. I was tired, stressed out, not sleeping well, hormonal swings, no energy, allergies, you name it. I was a mess. I mean, no time to get everything done, not enough hours in the day, juggling schedules, crashing on the couch after work, grabbing fast food because I didn't have time to cook. The day was, my energy was gone after teaching school all day. In the middle of all this, it dawned on me that I needed to do something different. I actually said, I think I need a multivitamin. So what did I do? Well, of course, I ran to the health food store. Man, was I confused trying to decide what to get at the health food store. I saw green pills, yellow pills, red ones, capsules, tablets, gummies, even labels that said natural. I saw liquids, powders. Goodness, where in the world do I start? Which multi do I choose? Well, trying to be logical about the whole thing, I thought, well, if it's on the shelf, it must be safe. I'm just going to get the most expensive multivitamin for women that I can find. And that's what I did. I got one that said, feel like a million. Hey, I wanted to feel like a million because I was a mess. But guess what? When I ran out of the vitamin and I was out of it a few days, I couldn't tell any difference. Not at all. I just knew mentally that I needed to be taking something. And then, thankfully, a friend said to me, why don't you try the multivitamin that my family's taking? We've been taking it for 20 years. We love it. It's made a difference in our health. And I decided to do that. He also said it's got a 100% money back guarantee if you don't feel better in a month. So I didn't have anything to lose. So after a week of taking it, I committed to doing it every day. After a week, I felt energy. I felt like I had life in my body. And 30 years later, guess what? I'm still taking that same brand of multivitamin. So yes, it works and it makes a difference in how I feel. I even went through a pregnancy taking only this multivitamin as my prenatal. So the question becomes, why did one vitamin make a difference and another vitamin didn't? Tonya, can you clue me in on the answer to that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a question I get asked a whole lot from my clients. We're going to just start with the basics tonight. And the basics are first, do we even need a multivitamin? So let's just start back at the beginning and examine that. Well, a recent CDC study found that 76% of adults don't eat enough fruit and 87% of adults don't eat enough vegetables. So right there we see that the majority of us don't get enough fruits and vegetables every single day. So just with that alone, we're missing some things in our intake of vital nutrients. So how do we get our nutrients if we've got these huge gaps in what we're getting and what we need to be getting? Because the nutrients that we get through our diet are limited compared to what we actually need for optimal health. So a multivitamin is like an insurance policy. It's a daily guarantee to ensure that our body gets the vitamins and minerals that it needs, and it can help fill in the gaps when there's a shortfall in our diet. Except the gap is widening. It's actually true from clinical studies that have been done that fruits and vegetables that were grown decades ago were much richer in vitamins and minerals than those that we get today. So sadly, each successive generation of fast growing, pesticide resistant carrot or any other vegetable or fruit is truly less good for us than the one before. Now, if we think about it this way, 99% of the world's daily calorie intake can be traced back to soil. The plants that we eat require soil to grow, and the animals that we eat require the plants to grow. The problem is that the soils are incredibly depleted because of over farming practices and pesticides and all types of issues with selective breeding. We have caused a depletion of nutrients in the soils. So, this is what it costs us. In studies that have been done comparing years ranging from 1975 to 1997, the nutrient levels in fresh vegetables and fruits have dropped significantly. And one study even concluded that we would have to eat 8 oranges today to get the same amount of vitamin A as our grandparents would have gotten from just one orange. And so when my clients tell me, well, my grandparents didn't eat all this health food and they didn't take vitamins and they lived to be old and had a good life. Yes, but they were eating different food than we're eating right now, guaranteed. So here's what it costs us. The protein content in corn has declined while the starch content has increased. The magnesium content of vegetables has declined. Trace minerals like manganese, zinc, copper, and nickel have all declined in vegetable crops, except toxic minerals in these crops have increased. So we have fewer nutrients and more toxins that we're getting, which those toxins place a burden on our body and require greater needs for nutrients. In a 2004 study, there were 43 different crops that were analyzed, and across the board, all of the nutrients tested were a lot less in 1999 compared to 1950. So we're definitely not getting the nutrition from our food that we used to get. So it is important that we fill in the gaps in our diet with a multivitamin, not just for people who eat poorly or on the run sometimes, but even for those of us who are very intentional about eating incredibly healthy. It's very important. But do multivitamins really work? Well, you can't believe everything that you read. What you're seeing right now is a screenshot from just a couple of days ago when I did a Google search for the benefits of multivitamins. And the first probably 20 or 30 things that popped up were that multivitamins don't work actually at all. Benefits are in your head, they don't provide health benefits. We don't really need them. They have no clinically measurable benefits. So, why do these studies say that? Well, in actuality, it's the exact same thing that Trudy experienced. She took one multivitamin and it didn't work, and she took another multivitamin and it did work. And so the difference is the quality of the multivitamin itself. And in just a moment, I'm going to tell you that number one criteria. There are thousands of vitamin companies on the market. But do you know which one of the 14 mega corporations owns your over the counter supplements? Because what most people don't know is there are mega corporations that own even competing brands of nutraceuticals. So Nestle owns Garden of Life and Clorox owns Renew Life. Do you really want a cleaning products company, a Clorox company, creating your multivitamin or owning your multivitamin? And then the next three that you see on the list on the left, these are investment firms. They don't even have anything to do with nutrition. And the last three are pharmaceutical companies. And I just listed a few of the supplement brands that they own just so that you can see that these are mega corporations that are running supplement companies. And it makes me wonder, are they more concerned about the bottom line or my health? And I don't really want to be a lab rat. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be a lab rat on an untested, unproven supplement. And this is why I say that, because in this x-ray, you can see that there are vitamins that are circled in this x-ray that are leaving the body completely undigested and unabsorbed. And so we have to know who we can trust. It's important to know when we take a multivitamin or any supplement for that matter, if it's safe, tested, proven, and guaranteed. So what do I look for when I'm choosing a multivitamin? Well, I am looking for a track record for safety and efficacy for sure. I want to see, do they have a long history of not having complaints and not having to pull products off the market for safety issues? The next thing I'm looking for is longevity, of course, because I want to know, do they have a history of producing products in harmony with nature and backed by sound science? But the most important thing, the number one most important criteria for choosing a multivitamin is science. And not just any science, because we can quote studies that have been done on vitamin C from other companies, but really what we want to know is, does the company itself have published peer reviewed clinical studies? Now, let me just take a moment and explain to you what that means, because as a wellness professional, it means a lot to me, but that might not be a term that you've heard before. A published clinical study means that it is published in a professional trade magazine or paper, like the New England Journal of Medicine, or the journal Nutrients, not in an advertising journal. And there are these advertising journals that look professional, but really companies pay to get their studies in there. They haven't been vetted by other professionals. And then peer reviewed means that there are a group of professionals in the same field who have examined the research and have validated that the science is sound. So that's important to know as well. So I'm looking for published peer reviewed clinical studies, and I'm also looking for quality of raw ingredients. That's really important to me as well. And that's why more than 2 decades ago, I chose Shaklee as my brand partner for my family, for myself, and then for my clients as well. Now, Dr. Shaklee created the first multivitamin in the US in 1915. So they've been around a long time. They do have longevity and the track record of science and efficacy that is really important to me. But what they have that's most important to me is that clinical research, the published peer reviewed clinical research. And this graph is just a chart from the landmark study. And maybe you're not familiar with that, but I'm going to tell you about that in just a second. But what's important to me is that Shaklee has proven that you don't have to sacrifice safety and purity for efficacy. And they perform significantly more purity and quality assurance tests on every new botanical ingredient than what is required by any regulatory requirement in the entire world. Shaklee products are backed by more than 100 patents and patents pending, and over 135 clinical studies, published papers, and scientific presentations. And that is what stands out to me, because no other company even comes close to that. And this is just one example of Shaklee's clinical research. This is third-party independent research done on Shaklee product users. It's called the Landmark Study. It is the largest long-term clinical study ever done on supplement use. And it compared people who took Shaklee products long-term to people who took other brands of products, like a multivitamin in a different brand, and to people who took no supplement at all. And the summary, just a few points of the study, are that Shaklee product users had 33% lower levels of triglycerides, an indicator of heart health, 11% lower cholesterol ratios, again, heart health indicator, 36% lower levels of homocysteine, and 59% lower levels of C-reactive protein. Now, I want to take a second and highlight homocysteine, because 36% lower levels of homocysteine is very significant, because homocysteine is an indicator of dementia and Alzheimer's risk. And so this means that the long-term Shaklee supplement users had much less risk for dementia and Alzheimer's than people who used other brands or no supplements at all. And so Shaklee users had this extensive clinical proof of healthier biomarkers, and they were tracked over a 10-year period, which is very significant. And so that's just one study. The telomere study is a totally different study. What's cool about the telomere study is Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn, who is a member of Shaklee's Scientific Advisory Board, she received the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2009 for her discovery of telomeres and the role that they play in disease and the aging process. And in this particular study that was done, the Shackley product users had remarkably healthier biomarkers than the general population. And also, they had longer telomeres. And telomeres, the shorter they get, the more sick we get and we age faster. And so that is important as well. Shackley products have been on every NASA mission since 1993, and Shackley powered athletes have won 146 gold, silver, and bronze medals in the Olympics. And so Shackley products have very highly influential people who are seeing the benefits of people using these products, but always they're safe, proven, and guaranteed. Now, I wanted to highlight just this one impressive quote from just one clinical study that was published. And it says, and this is from the landmark study, groundbreaking study of long-term dietary supplement users showed that people who took Shackley supplements had markedly better health compared to those who took a multivitamin from another brand or no supplement at all. And this is an excerpt from that clinical study, which you can look up and research yourself if you want. Now, for just a second, we want to talk about natural, because it's always important to me to cut through the hype and help people to understand that natural and all this cute, clever, natural looking marketing, it really means nothing. And that's with food and with supplements as well. So it's just a marketing buzzword. I don't think that there's really anybody on the planet that thinks that Cheetos are actually natural. Natural just means it started from a natural source. But it's highly processed and has a lot of ingredients in it that we definitely wouldn't naturally think of as being natural. And then organic sour twist. It's just candy. The first four ingredients are sugar, except because it's labeled organic, people will buy it and think that it's a better choice than other candies. So let me tell you what natural really means. Shellac. Do you know what shellac is? Shellac is used as a wood finish. It's like a coating, a sealer on wood. It's also in fingernail polish. But shellac is a resin secreted by a female bug from India and Thailand. And they take the resin and they dissolve it in alcohol and they make this liquid shellac. And we use it to seal wood and put it in food coatings and fingernail polish colors as well. But shellac is considered natural. And so it's also used in the pharmaceutical industry as a tablet coating and used in vitamins as a tablet coating as well. So it's not something I would want in a supplement for sure, but it is used and it can be labeled natural, even if it has a shellac coating, because it began from a bug, no matter how processed it is. So natural doesn't mean natural. It just means it started from nature and it doesn't speak to the processing at all. And organic is similar. Organic is just a means of production. It's not a guarantee that the food is clean and free of chemical contaminants. It doesn't actually speak to the purity and safety and potency after the harvest and when it's tableted. So Shackley products are beyond organic. And that means that Shackley's quality standards go beyond how and where an ingredient is grown. Shackley confirms the purity and potency of ingredients after harvest to guarantee that the finished final product is free of hundreds of chemical contaminants that might be in it. So it means that not only are they clinically tested, but they're free from banned substances. They don't have artificial ingredients, growth hormones, antibiotics. They're non-GMO and they're pesticide, herbicide, and contaminant free. Most of them are kosher and gluten-free as well. And so for me, the winner clearly is in the number one criteria for choosing a supplement, Shackley's Vita-Lea. It's based on 7 clinical studies and backed by 100 years of innovation. It has a patented bioactivated absorption system, and it is FDA approved as a pre and postnatal. It comes in formulations that are appropriate for women of childbearing years, for men, and then also for people over the age of 50, both with and without vitamin K. And if you want to upgrade your multi, there's the Vitalizer Daily Strip, and it's based on 13 clinical trials. And it also has an FDA approved claim for health that the nutrients found in Vitalizer are clinically proven to create a foundation for a longer, healthier life. And it also has a patented delivery system. And you can see in the strip of vitamins on the right, the arrows pointing to the 2 multivitamins that are in the pack that have other supportive nutrients in them as well. So, what we're asking you is each week we give you some what we feel is really fantastic and life changing information, but don't sit on it. Turn your knowledge into action. If you are not currently taking the Shackley multivitamin, we want you to switch brands if you're taking another brand so that you can put Shackley's multivitamin to the test and see the difference and feel the difference for yourself. And if you're not taking a multivitamin at all, we strongly encourage you to do so because, as you can see, we certainly do not get everything that we need from our diet. And if you want more information like this, you can go to my website, liveamazing365.com, under the tab Insights, and find previous webinars that we've done on a host of other health topics as well. And if you look for what a nutritionist looks for when choosing a supplement, I'll be giving you a whole lot more information in that webinar, a lot more detailed information about clinical studies and what they mean and more things to look for. That's just a really great foundation if you want more information about being confident in the supplements that you are taking. Now it's time for the Q&A. I'm so glad you guys are sending in questions in advance. We love answering your questions. And so we're going to turn off the recording and answer all of your questions. And thank you so much for being with us tonight. We really appreciate you and your loyalty to join us week after week. So hang on just a second and let me pause the recording.